Okay guys, welcome back to another video, and this I just want to quickly show you the render time difference between the default ray tracing algorithm and compared to my path tracer setup. Okay, so this is a scene I downloaded from this website here, Oscar's website, right? It's the house on the lake. Okay, it was done in Lightyear 2015, and this is basically his final render output. But it also has post effects and composite effects done onto the render. So after the Lightyear render are done, he added blur effects and well as tone mapping and stuff like that. So in any case, what I want to share with you is the time difference between the default settings that he used, and also then we're going to take a look at my settings, which is just pure Lightwave, the ray path tracer, without GI, without any sort of radiosity, and we're going to see how you can achieve the similar look, and also you'll be able to animate objects within the scene without any type of artifacts. Okay, so let's give this a go and see what kind of render time the default scene that Oscar set up is going to take on this i7 laptop. Okay, let's click F9 and see using the standard render. As you can see, the frame time remaining is now going up from 1 hour to 2 hours and 20 minutes, and the time is increasing. I'm not going to wait for this entire thing to render, but just to show you what type of render time you can expect with the default scene. All right, it's now at 3 hours and 30 minutes. Okay, and it's still increasing. We're now going to almost 4 hours. Now it's at 4 hours frame time remaining. Okay, so we are running on 12 threads at the moment. 4.5 hours frame time remaining. Okay, I'm actually not using the correct backplate, but it doesn't matter. It's just for us to see the render time, the frame time remaining. So we're now gone up to over 5 hours and 11 minutes, and the time is still increasing. Okay, so I'm just going to stop it right there. It's now at 5 hours and 37 minutes, and the time is still increasing. And we're now at 5 hours and 48 minutes. Okay, we're almost approaching 6 hours for the render time remaining to complete the render with all these settings. And we are now we're now passing over 6 hours. Okay, so I'm just going to stop it right there. Okay, so we can see that the scene has not been surfaced optimally, and the scene has not been efficiently basically surfaced, or his settings are not very efficient. I mean, I would not want to wait over 6 hours for a render like this. Okay, so I'm going to jump onto my Lightwave path tracer settings, and we're going to see how much time difference on my setup it takes. It's the exact same scene. Okay, and now we are just using a slightly different backplate because I didn't have time to download his backplate. Okay, so it's just to show you what you can expect with my settings. Okay, which I've shown on the previous video. So we're running it at the same resolution. Okay, full HD, and just using 5 passes. Okay, and we're going to see how long this takes. Now just remember guys, the trick with using Lightwave is not for you to be you know, waiting hours and hours for something to get done. The secret behind Lightwave is to be ahead of your competitor. So if you can find a way to achieve that, then good for you. Okay, this has always been Lightwave's secret, and if you know how to use the software correctly, you can still achieve those type of renders. Okay, and as we can see now, we are 58 seconds into the render. The frame time remaining is 3 minutes and 28 seconds to final output, and we are running at full HD. Okay, 5 passes AA, which is more than enough for this view because the camera is far out, so a camera is not close to any objects to require a high smoothing pass. But as you can see, compared to over 6 hours of my render time, right, we are getting, we are almost halfway done, and you can see by the render preview that it is going to give you a decent output. Okay, I have also added onto this render, I've added glow intensity to the lights on the water, so it will give a bit more nicer effect. Okay, again we are using the SK sunlight to light the scene with some soft shadow, and we are using a full light in the background which have shadows turned off. Okay, so basically once this render is done, you can then take it into Photoshop, and you can add more post effects on top of this. Okay, to achieve the vignette effect over here, we have some type of depth of field, and we have tone mapping. You can also as well apply that to the same render once it's done. Okay, obviously some of the surfaces I have switched off some of the nodes because they were not efficiently done, but we will still see the type of render we can achieve um, in just under in just about 3 minutes and 28 seconds compared to 6 hours. Okay, and we are almost done. Okay, and here is our render at full HD. Okay, so this is pretty decent. I mean, that's the linear output looks like this, and we can go to RGB, Rec 709. So this is what the linear is, and then RGB is like this. So we can take this render into Photoshop, and we can add more effects and tweaks over it. So this is another camera angle of my scene lighting setup, and we can see there's a nice range of extremely dark shadows to soft lighting, and also we can see that the SK sunlight is giving some nice shadows going into the area in the back, and also the glow intensity of the cubes, the lights are coming off nicely off the water's edge there. So this is also looking quite nice, right? I really like how this is looking, and also you can see that the trees are matching the backplate that I've used, and they are rather dark just like the tree in the backplate, which adds more realism to the render output. Okay, so this is in the linear color space, and let's go and do another camera angle. Let's go to let's go to color space. Let's switch back to a linear. Let's go to let's try one from this angle. So the last shot was done at 2 minutes, and let's try one from this angle. Let's go to go here. So basically, the way this scene is set up is basically like similar to the way Unreal Engine lighting works and some of the other GPU hard traces, where the algorithm uses one global light for the entire environment. In this case, we are using the SK sunlight, which is a global sun for the entire scene, which will be kind of like the comparison to Unreal Nanite, where Nanite lights the entire scene in terms of the algorithm and how the render calculates stuff and light. So it's quite similar in terms of how the lighting setup works in this case. And so also the scene realism will heavily rely on accurate surfacing and efficient surfacing to create the type of realism using this setup. So you need to have some understanding of photography as well as a good knowledge of lighting, shadowing, lighting, shadows, and so on. But yes, you will be able to without using GI or radiosity, you will be able to um, get out nice looking renders in a short amount of time. And I'm sure there is a lot of graininess from this view. I'm not sure why, but maybe it's something to do with the surfacing. We'll have to take a look at that. But let's take a look on the linear color space, right? You can see that you cannot see the graininess in the darker areas. So this is the linear color space, right? And this is the accurate lighting setup. It's in, I think the scene that Oscar set up was set up to render output in a linear color space. So this is the correct color space. This is not the correct color space. The scene was set up using the linear color space workflow output. Right, as you can see, again, a nice finish, really nice finish. Okay, so I'm going to save this out again. PT2. So you decide, over 6 hours to 7 hours, or maybe 2 minutes to 3 minutes. It is up to you at full HD. All right. Okay, guys, I will catch you guys on the next video.